Welcome back, everyone. Today we'll be looking at exact trig values, and the reason I'll be doing this is because we make a little change in our last two videos, I guess, where we were talking about cos 300 degree, and we know cos 300 happens to be on the fourth quadrant. This is the fourth quadrant. This is the first, the second, and the third. And cos is positive here, all is positive, sine is positive, and tan is what? Positive. So 300, this is 90, this is 180, this is 270, and this 0 as well as 360 what? Degree. Now 300 degrees greater than 270, so it falls here. We can see that 300 can be somewhere from, since it's positive, from here to here is what? 300. And what was left here is what? 60 degree inclined with the what? Horizontal. So we can agree that cos 300 degree will be equal to what? Cos 60 degree. And why is it cos 60 degree? Because cos 300 at the first quadrant, we simply have cos theta to be equals to positive cos 360 degree minus what? Theta in brackets. Now cos here happens to be 300, which is this, which is cos what? 300 what degree, which is the angle we are focusing on. So we have plus cos in brackets 360 degree minus what? 300 what? Degree. So that's why we have cos 300 degree to be equals to what? Positive cos what? 60 what? Degree. Now where this is where the error is. We're supposed to have this, or let me use here. We're supposed to have this. If we have this as 30 degree and this as 90 degree, here should be 1. Or let me do it exactly how the triangle was that day. Yeah, think something like this. Yeah, this is 30 degree. This should be 1, this should be 2, and this should be what? Root 3. But what we did on that day, we interchange it. We use here as root 3, we use here as 2, and we use here as what? 1. And this is what? This is actually the correct what? Triangle to have been used. Because if you have sine, this should be the opposite of 30 degree. This is the right, where the right angle is facing the hypotenuse, and this become the what? Adjacent. So if this is the right angle, which is 90 degree, and this 30 degree, then the sum of angle in the triangle makes this to be what? 180 minus 90 minus 30, giving us here to be what? 60 degree. And if this is 60 degree, the opposite and the adjacent side certainly what? Changes. So if I'm using 60 degree, here is my opposite, here is my opposite, here become adjacent, and my hypotenuse remain what? Hypotenuse. So cos 60 become adjacent to our hypotenuse, which is supposed to be what? Cos 60 become what? 1 over 2. So cos 300 degree is equals to what? Positive cos what? 60 degree, which is equals to what? 1 over 2. So cos 60 is 1 over 2, which is equals to 0.5. So using root 3 all over 2 is absolutely what? Wrong. So please take note of this. So this brings us to exact trigonometry what? Values. So let's see examples relating to this. Let us consider an equilateral triangle. And we know that an equilateral triangle is a triangle that have 3 equal angles and 3 equal sides. So if I have this, let me say this is my A, this is my B, and this is my C. Now we know the 3 angles are 60 degrees each. If I should draw a median from the vertex A, this will divide this triangle into two equal right angle or triangles, giving me still 60 degree. This is like a median A, and let's say it meets BC at D. This AD now is a median that divide this angle into 2 equal angles. So we have 30 degree here, 30 degree here, and it will equally divide this side. this angle into 2 right what angle, and this angle here to here, BC, will be equal to what? DC. So if I'm using any value, all the values will be the same. That's length AB will be equal to BC will be equal to what? AC, because the 3 angles are the same. So if this is A, this certainly will be A, and this will be A. This can be, this I can take this as A, since there is no unit, is A units, which can be millimeter, centimeter, and so on. And this remains A, this remains A, because AC, AB and AC are not what? Altered. But this become what? A over 2, halfway, midpoint, and this is also what? A over what? 2. Now I can use one side of the triangle. I can decide to use this side. This 30 degree, and this become my AD, and this become my D. This remains what? A over 2, and this is what? A. And this is what? 60 degree. Now I can use one of the 2 triangles first. Please, I'm trying to minimize space. So I can use that of my 60 degree first. I can use that of my 30 degree. So let me start with 30 degree. If I'm using 30 degree, then here remain my A. Here remain A over what? 2. And here is what? AD. This what? This should be C. This is D, and this is my what? C. Now if you observe, this is a right angle. This make here my hypotenuse. This is the angle I'm focusing on. Here become my what? Opposite. And here is my what? My what? Adjacent, which is the what? Last side. Now what I need to do is to know my adjacent side. How do I know my adjacent side? I can use Pythagoras theorem. So I can say adjacent, which is A. Or remember, this hypotenuse. Hypotenuse square is equals to the sum of the adjacent square plus the what? Opposite square by Pythagoras, please. Now my hypotenuse is A, so I have A square equals to, my capital A is adjacent side, so I have A square, which is what I'm looking for, plus my opposite A over what? 2. Now I'm looking for A, and A is already positive, so let me move this to the other side. I'll have A square minus what? A over 2 equals to adjacent what? Square. Now this can be over 1. Remember, this should carry what? Square. Should carry square. Now this become what? A square over 1 minus A square over what? 4. Now again, I come further, and I'll have equals to what? A square. And XM of 1 and 4 is what? 4. And 1 into 4, 4. 4 times A square will give me 4A square. Minus 4 into 4, 1. 1 times A square will give me what? A square. Equals to capital what? A square, which is my adjacent side. Now, A square and 4A square and A square, they are like terms. So 4 minus invisible 1 will give me 3. And I'll have my A square all over 4 equals to what? A square. I'm looking for adjacent side, not adjacent square. So I'll square both sides. So I'll have 3A square square root all over 4 square root equals to what? A square square root. Square will cancel square root. And I'll have my A to be equals to, this can be split using sword form, using sword insights. This can give me root 3 and root A square all over what? Root what? 4. Now I have my A to be equals to root 3. Square can cancel square root, having A here, and this root 4. Square root of 4 is what? 2. So I have my adjacent side as root 3 all over 2 what? A. Now I can decide to pick a value to represent my A, which will work for all the what? Sides, the 3 sides. If I pick 1, then my A will be 1, my hypotenuse will be 1, my adjacent will be 1 over 2, which is half, and this will give me what? Root 3 over what? 2. So what do I have to pick to make it work out? Let's pick 2. If I pick 2, A will be 2, which is hypotenuse will be 2, adjacent will be 2 over 2, which is 1, and this will be equal to what? Root 3 over 2 times 2, which is what? Root 3. Therefore, if A is equals to 2, H, which is hypotenuse, equal to what? A equal 2. Then, opposite will be, which equal A over 2 will be equal to 2 over 2, which is equals to 1. And adjacent, which equal root 3 all over 2A, will give me root 3 over 2 times what? 2, which is a, and this we cancel, have what? Root 3. So bringing this back, I simply have my a using this now. I'll simply have, in terms of what? 30 degree, I will have my a, which is what? 2 for hypotenuse. I will have my a over 2, which is opposite, to give me what? 1. And I'll have my adjacent, which is AD, adjacent, which is what? Root 3. Now, this is the triangle we can use to get our values for sine 30. And if this is 30 degree and this is 90 degree, then sum of a angle of a triangle, we give these two to be 90 and 30, which is 120, and 180 minus 120 will give you to what? 60 what? Degree. So using just this triangle, I can focus, I can get all my trig function relating to 30 and 60 degree, using the exact or trig what values from this. So let me show you what I mean. Now, this is the triangle we are using. This is 30 degree, this is the right angle, this is 60 degree, and we have 2, root 3, and what? 1. Now, let's start for 30. If we have sine 30 degree, sine is what? Opposite over what? Hypotenuse. My opposite here, using 30 degree. Remember, I'm using 30 degree, so let me just write my 30 degree hat without putting 60 degree. This is 30 degree, this is root 3, this is 1, this is what? 2. Using my 30 degree, this become my opposite. The longest side where the right angle is facing is the what? Hypotenuse, and this become my what? Adjacent. Now, for sine 30 generally is using SOHCAHTOA. Remember, SOHCAHTOA. Where S stands for sine, O is opposite, H is what? Hypotenuse. Now, opposite here is facing this, which is 1, and my hypotenuse is 2. And if you use your calculator to check, sine 30 is 0.5, which is equals to 1 over 2. This is the exact value in terms of trig what? Values. Now, cos 30 also, I'm using this angle, remember, so that you won't say this should be the opposite. I'm using 30, so this angle is facing here, it must be my opposite. So for cos 30, here's my opposite. Cos 30 is what? Adjacent over what? Hypotenuse. And my adjacent side here is what? Root 3. All over what? Hypotenuse, which is what? 2. And for that of tan 30 degree, will give me what? Tan is what? Opposite over what? Adjacent. And for opposite, I have what? 1. And adjacent is what? Root 3. This is 1 over 3. But you can decide to rationalize, because in mathematics, it's better for the root to be at the top. So simply multiply both the top and the bottom by root 3. Multiplying the top and the bottom by root 3, I have not changed anything, because root 3 can still cancel root 3 to come back to this. So half root 3 all over this simply give me root 3 what? Square. And this can cancel this, giving me what? Root 3 over what? 3. Now we are done with that. You can choose to verify if you choose to. If you check for cos 30, it gives you 0.866. And if you check root 3 divided by 2, equally gives you 0.866. And if you check for tan 30, gives you 0.577. And if you check 1 divided by root 3, it will still give you 0.577. And the rationalized value is the same, root 3 also, divided by 3, giving you 0.577. So they are all what? Same. So if we focus on that of 60, since we've seen that of 30, we focus on that of 60, we'll have, for that of 60, we are going to have 60 degree now, right angle. All the values for the side remain the same, but the sides change. Why? Here remain the hypotenuse, and the opposites become the what? Adjacent for this. So this become opposites, and for this here become what? The last side, which is what? Adjacent. Now we have what? Sine what? 60. We're talking about 60 now. We're using this angle, remember. Sine 60, sine remain opposite over hypotenuse. And my opposite this time happens to be what? Root 3. And my hypotenuse is what? 2. So you see that sine 60 is equal to what? Cos 30. Take note. Now, for my cos 60 degree, we have what? Adjacent over what? Hypotenuse. My adjacent is what? 1. And my hypotenuse is what? 2. So you see cos 60 is equal to sine 30, 1 over 2. And for my tan 60 degree, tan is what? Opposite over what? Adjacent. My opposite side is what? Root 3. And my adjacent side is 1. And root 3 divided by 1 will still give you what? Root 3. So let's verify again. Sine 60 is equals to 0.866. And we said sine 60 equal root 3 over 2. So it should give us that value, which also 0.866 is correct. And cos 60 is equal to 0.5. And 1 over 2 is 0.5. And tan 60 equals to 1.732 and so on. Root 3, 0.732 and so on. So far we are done with this. So we've gotten all the information. So what I'm going to do here, or write it out here, so that when we want to solve, we won't be taking long. So again, I'll do that of 45 degree. So let's focus on that of 45 degree. And if we are doing that of 45 degree, we are going to be using our right isosceles. Start and again, do that one. So we're looking at isosceles right triangle to get our angles of 45 degree. But you remember that isosceles right triangle is a triangle that have the right angle, which is 90 degree, and the other two angles share the remaining 90 degree, which gives you what? 45 degree and what? 45 what? Degree. So therefore, if these two angles are equal from triangle principle, we know that the two sides must be equal. So this place where this angle is facing, if I take here as A, the side this angle is facing, then here must be what? A. Since the two angles are equal, the two sides should be what? Equal. And I have to know my hypotenuse side now. What's my hypotenuse side? Hypotenuse square is equals to what? Adjacent square plus what? Opposite square from Pythagoras. And h square will be equals to A. My A, which is any of these two sides can be adjacent and opposite. Remember, since the two angles are the same. And we're not focusing on any special triangle. So my opposite will be A square, and my adjacent can be A square, and my opposite can also be what? A square. So I have h square to be equals to a square plus a square. They have invisible 1 as coefficient, so they are like term. So I can add up to give me what? 2a what? Square. And h, if I take the square roots, I'll have square root of a square equal to square root of 2a what? Square. So this can cancel this, and I'll have h to be equals to, this can be written as root 2 times root a what? Square. And square will cancel what? Square root. And my final answer will be what? Root 2 what? A. So for simplicity, I can simply say let a be equal to 1. If a is 1, then I'll have h. If a equal 1, then I'll have h to be equals to what? Root 2 times what? 1. A should be equals to what? Root 2. My A is 1. So from my triangle, I can simply have what? 45 degree, 45 degree, and what? 1 root what? 2. This is my right angle. Now, for that of 45 degree, remember sine is what? Opposite over hypotenuse. So my sine 45 degree will simply give me what? This is my right angle. So even any of these two I'm using will be the same. Sine 45 will give me what? 1 opposite over what? Hypotenuse. If I still use it as opposite, it will still give me 1 all over what? My hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is unchanged, remember, because it's the side the right angle is facing. So is what? Opposite over what? Hypotenuse, giving me what? 1 over what? Root 2. Opposite over hypotenuse. So now this simply give, if I rationalize, I'll have what? Root 2 all over root 2 or square, meaning I'm multiplying the top by root 2 and I'm multiplying the bottom by root 2. Let me write it out so you get it well. So this gives me what? Root 2 all over root 2 will give me what? Root 4, and square root of 4 is 2, so I have root 2 over what? 2 for sine 45. And cos 45 degree is equals to what? Adjacent over what? Hypotenuse. And my adjacent is what? And opposite, they are the same. So I have 1 all over hypotenuse again, root 2. And if I rationalize, I'll have what? Root 2 over 2. And that for my tangent, I have tan 45 also, which is tan of angle, is what? Always over what? Adjacent. And my opposite and adjacent, they are 1, so I have 1 over 1. And tan 45 will be equals to what? 1. So, in summary, I have my sine 45 degree to be equals to root 2 over 2, cos 45 degree also equal to root 2 over 2, and tan 45 degree to be equals to what? 1. So that's it. We can check to be certain, please. If you have your calculator over there, you can check as well. So I have sine 45 giving me 0.7071 and so on. I have root 2 divided by 2 giving me 0.7001 as well. Exactly. That will be same for cos 45. Cos 45 0.7071, which is cos 45 and sine 45, they are equal. So let's check that for tan 45. Tan 45 is equals to 1, and 1 is also equal to what? 1. So we are correct. So with this, we can go into calculation involving solid and fractions of trigonometry. So let's see some examples. So we have the question on the board. We should simplify this using trig values. Sine 30 degree minus tan 45 degree minus sine 60 degree and minus sine 60 cos 60 what degree. How do we do this? Now all we need to do is to replace all this with our values we've got to. Sine 30 is 1 over 2, so I simply have 1 over 2. I'll put my minus sign. Tan 45 is what? 1. All over sine 60 is root 3 over 2. Cos 60 cos 60. Sine 60 cos 60 is like product in between the 60 and this cos here. Take note. It's like a multiplication sign in between. So cos 60 is root 3 over 2 and cos 60 is what? 1 over 2. So I have my 1 over 2 here. So all I need to do is to resolve this what? Expression. So I have half. I can say half minus 1 will give me half, which is minus half. But if you don't want to, let's do the solving. Now half, let this be my top. I have xm of 2 and invisible 1 will give me what? 2. 2 into 2 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Minus 1 into 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is what? 2. Let me use this division for this other one. And I'll have what? This will give me root 3 all over what? 4. Now this will give me 1 minus 2 is what? Minus 1 all over 2. times what? 4 all over what? Root 3. This can cancel this, or have what? 2. And I'll have my final answer as minus 2. 2 times minus 1, minus 2 all over what? Root 3. But like I told you, you don't need to leave your final answer with a root at the bottom, so you rationalize. So if I rationalize this, I will have minus 2 all over root 3 times root 3 all over what? Root 3. And this will give me minus 2 root 3 all over root 3 times root 3 will give me root what? 9. And this will give me minus 2 root. So again, we have sine 60 degree plus cos 60 degree all divided by tan 45 degree. Again, sine 60 is what? Root 3 over 2. So we have our root 3 over 2 plus cos 60 is what? Cos 60 there is 1 over 2. All over tan 45. Tan 45 is what? 1. So this is same as saying root 3 over 2 plus 1 over 2, because anything divided by 1 is that same value. So LCM of 2 and 2 will give me what? 2. 2 into 2, 1. 1 times root 3 is root 3. Plus 2 into 2, 1. 1 times 1, 1. And this is my what? Answer. If you choose to, you can still split it as root 3 over 2 plus 1 over what? 2. Any of them is what? Any of them are correct. Thank you. So again, we have sine 45 all over 1 plus cos 45. Our sine 45 is what? Root 2 over 2. All divided by 1 plus cos 45. Cos 45 is also what? Root 2 over what? 2. So I will solve this denominator to give me just a fraction, a combined fraction, before I resolve it with this top numerator. So I have root 2 over 2, long division, LCM of 1 and 2 will give me 2, all over 1 into 2, 2, 2 times 1, 2, plus 2 into 2, 1, 1 times root 2 will give me 2 into 2, 1, 1 times root 2 will give me what? Root 2. And this will become root 2 all over 2. If I change here to times, these two will interchange to give me 2 all over 2 plus what? Root 2. And this can cancel this, and I'll have root 2 all over 2 plus what? Root 2 as my answer. But I don't need to stop here, because I can see that root 2 is here and I don't want any roots. So I will rationalize this. Rationalizing this simply means multiplying the top and the bottom. This is not just a value this time, it's a what? Let me say an expression. So I have to what? I have to take the conjugate of this. Since this is 2 plus root 2, I will change it to 2. I will just change the sign to minus root 2. So I would have times 2 minus root 2, and I must do the same at the bottom. 2 minus root 2. So that this and these are equal if I cancel out. Now, having this, I will therefore have root 2 times 2 will give me what? 2 root 2. Minus root 2 times root 2 will give you root 4. And square root of 4 is what? 2. So any root multiplying another root of itself, if I have root 3 multiplying root 3, I must have my value as what? 3 as my answer, because root 3 will give you what? Root 9, and square root of 9 is 3. So if I have root a times root a, I will have ordinary a. Why? I will have root a times a, giving me what? Root a square, and square can cancel square root, giving me what? A. Take notes. So coming to the bottom, I will have 2. All you need to do here, since the only difference between the two denominators are the signs, I'll simply write this square. Then you must use minus. Please take note, you must use minus, because this is like difference of 2 square. Look at it, it's difference of 2 square. So if I pick 2, if I square it, I must pick my root 2 also and square it. And this will give me 2 root 2 minus 2. All over 2 square is what? 4. Minus this, we cancel this 2. Giving me 2 root 2 minus 2 all over what? 2. But if you still watch, something can cancel out. 2 can cancel all. That's to say, I can have 2 root 2 over 2 minus 2 all over 2. And this can cancel this, and my final answer will give me root 2 minus 1. Take notes. Again, we have sine 30 degree plus cos 45 degree minus tan 45 degree all over sine 60 degree. How are we to resolve this? We already know that our sine 30 is 1 over 2, the easiest, plus cos 45. Cos 45 is what? Root 2 rather, all over 2, minus tan 45, which is what? 1. This can be over 1, all over sine 60, which is what? Root 3, all over what? 2. Now, I will solve the top to give me a single fraction, just like this button is giving me a single solved value. So, I will have xm of 2, 2, and 1 is 2. And 2 into 2 is 1. 1 times 1, 1. Plus 2 into 2, 1. 1 times root 2 will give me root 2. Minus 1 into 2, 2. 2 times 1, 2. Let me use this division for this to save space. And I have root 3 all over what? 2. Now, I have 1 minus 2, which is minus 1. So I can have root 2 minus 1 here, all over 2. Divided by what? Root 3 all over what? 2. And this will give me root 2 minus 1 all over 2. Change your division to multiplication. These two, the right hand fraction will interchange sign, just like we did in algebraic fraction. So I'll have 2 all over what? Root 3. And this can cancel this, and I'll have root 2 minus 1 all over root 3. This is where a student who is not fully into mathematics will stop. But a student that is into mathematics will realize that this must be what? Rationalized. So you have root 2 minus 1 all over root 3. You multiply the top and the bottom by what? Root 3, so that the bottom will give you a what? A natural number without a what? A root. Now, this will multiply this, it will give me what? Root 2 times what? 3, taking one root. And this times this will give me minus what? Root 3. All over, this times this will simply give me root 3 what? Square, which is 9. So square can cancel square roots. This is not minus, please. So this will give me root 6 minus root 3 all over what? 3. And this cannot be simplified further, and this is my what? Answer. So we have sine 45 degree all over cos 45 degree minus sine 45 degree. Our sine 45 is what? Sine 45 is root 2 over 2. Or divided by, cos 45. Also what? Root 2 over what? 2. Minus sine 45, which is again root 2 over what? 2. And we have root 2 over 2 divided by, we'll solve this to give just one value. But root 2 over 2 minus root 2 over 2 will give me 0, because anything dividing itself is what? Anything subtracting itself is what? 0. So I have 0 here. And root 2 over 2 divided by 0 will give me what? An undefined what? Expression. So this is what? Undefined. Why? I have 0 at my denominator, so I can't do anything. It's what? An undefined what? Expression. We have sine 60 degree all over 1 minus cos 60 degree minus cos 30 degree all over sine 30 degree. Our sine 60 degree is simply what? 1 over 2. Sine 60 is what? 1 over 2. Take note. So where is it? Root 3 over 2 rather. So we have our root 3. Michael, start and again. If you delete Abi, then delete her. We have sine 60 degree all over 1 minus cos 60 degree minus cos 30 degree all over sine 30 degree. How are we to resolve this? First, our sine 60 is what? Root 3 over what? 2. All over 1 minus cos 30 is what? 1 over 2. Minus cos 30 is what? Root 3 over what? 2. Cos 30 you can see equal what? Sine 30. All over sine 30 is what? 1 over what? 2. So now, we can simply resolve this denominator to give just one fraction, just like this. So I'll have root 3 over 2 all over 1 minus half simply will give you what? 1. No need of wasting your time. This root 3 over what? 2 all over what? 1 over 2. Now I will have root 3 over 2, because root 3 over 2 divided by will give me root 3 over 2 minus, and I'll have root 3 over 2 here. If I change my division to times, I'll have 2 over 1 instead of 1 over 2. Now this can cancel this, and I'll therefore have root 3 over 2 minus root 3. If I choose to combine, I'll simply have xm as 2. 2 into 2, 1. 1 times root 3 is what? Root 3. Minus invisible 1 into 2 will give me what? 2. 2 times root 3 will give me what? 2 root what? 3. So I can leave my answer as this. So again, we have sine 60 all over 1 minus cos 60 minus cos 30 degree all over sine what? 30 degree. Now sine 60 degree first is what? Root 3 all over what? 2. long division, I have my 1 minus cos 60 is what? 1 over what? 2. Take note. And I have minus cos 30 is what? Root 3 all over what? 2. Longer division, or I can use this if I choose to. Sin 30 is what? 1 over what? 2. So this will give me root 3 over 2 divided by 1 minus half will simply give me what? Half. So I have minus root 3 over 2 divided by 1 over 2. Now I have division, minus, and I equally have what? Division and minus. And if I have this, I'll simply have root 3 over 2 times 2 over 1 minus root 3 over 2 times what? 2 over 1. This will cancel this will equally cancel this, and I'll have root 3 minus root 3, which will be equals to what? 0, because anything subtracting itself is 0. So this is my what? Answer. So again, we have sin 60 degree plus sin 30 degree, all divided by cos 60 degree minus cos 30 degree. Sin 60 degree is simply root 3 over 2 plus, and sin 30 the easiest, 1 over what? 2. Cos 60 degree is also what? 1 over 2 equals sin 30 degree. And cos 30 degree is what? Root 3 all over what? 2. Now all my x here, my xm of 2 and 2 is 2. So I simply add up my what? Denominator, since the xm are, the denominators are the same. So I have root 3 plus what? 1. I'll use this division sign to save space. Now xm again is the same, since I have 2 there, the xm is 2. So I'll simply have 1 minus what? Root 3. So I will have root 3 plus 1 over what? 2. Change this to times, I'll have 2 all over 1 minus what? Root 3. And you can see that root 2 can cancel 2, and I'll have root 3 plus 1 all over 1 minus what? Root 3. Now I don't want a root to be in my answer. I will what? Rationalize. And rationalizing this time, I will have, instead of minus, I'll use plus, and I'll use to multiply the numerator and the denominator of this fraction. So I have root 3 plus 1 all over 1 minus root 3 times 1 plus what? Root 3 all over 1 plus what? Root 3. If I cancel this and this, I'm coming back to this. So root 3 times 1 will give me what? Root 3. Root 3 times root 3 will give me ordinary what? 3. Remember, and there's plus here, because invisible plus times plus is plus. And plus times invisible plus is plus. 1 times 1 is what? 1. And plus times plus again is plus. 1 times root 3 will give me what? Root 3. All over. Simply pick your one. This difference of 2 square. Minus times plus is what? Minus. So you have 1 square and root 3 what? Square. Take note. It's always minus here. Just take note. It's always minus. So we have root 3 plus this root 3. So I can have 2 root 3 here plus what? 3 plus 1, 4. All over 1 square is 1 minus this we cancel this, and I'll have 3. So I have 2 root 3 plus 4 all over what? Minus 2. Now I can raise my minus 2 upward to give me what? Let me finish it here. I can raise my minus 2 upward to give me minus brackets. Here become 2 roots, and 2 is common also. I can bring my, or let's leave the 2 first to avoid confusion. I have 2. 2 divide 2 root 2 will give me root 3, and 2 divide 4 will give me what? 2. All over what? Minus 2. And this can cancel this, and I have minus left. So I have minus bracket root 3 plus 2. And this will give me minus root 3 minus, because minus plus is minus, and minus 4 is also what? Minus 2. This can be written as minus 2 minus root 3. Any of the two is what? Correct. So this is my answer. So again, we have tan 60 degree divided by 1 plus sin 30 degree minus sin 60 degree all over cos 60 degree. Now tan 60 degree is root 3 over what? 3. Longer division, 1 plus sin 30, 1 over 2 minus sin 60 is what? Root 3 all over what? 2 all over cos 60, which is what? 1 over what? 2. Now let's resolve this to give me a single what? Fraction. First, you know 1 plus half actually is 1 and half. And 1 and half is giving me what? 3 over what? 2. So I can simply have it as root 3 over 2 divided by what? 3 over 2. Let me make it big. Root 3 over 2 divided by what? 3 over 2. I'm using this division as this now. I have not changed anything. Minus root 3 over 2 divided by 1 over what? 2. So this become what? Root 3 over what? 2 times these two will interchange. 2 over what? Root 3. 2 over 3 rather. Yeah. 2 over 3 minus, here become root 3 over what? 2 times 1 times 2. Interchange here. 2 over what? 1. So this can cancel this and this can cancel this. I therefore have root 3 over 3 minus root 3. This can be what? Over 1. And if I want to combine both, I will simply have LCM to be 3 all over 3 into 3, 1. 1 times root 3 is what? Root 3 minus 3 into 3. 3 divided by 1, 3. And 3 times root 3 will give me what? 3 root what? 3. You can simply see that we have root 3 to be common. So since root 3 is common, I can say 1, invisible 1 minus root 3. Or you simply say root 3 is common, you bring your root 3 out. Root 3 divided root 3 will give me what? 1. And 3 root 3 divided by root 3 will give me what? 3. All over what? 3 here. And this will give me root 3 bracket what? 1 minus 3 is minus what? 2. All over 3. And this will multiply this will give me what? Minus 2 root 3 all over 3 as my final what? Answer. So we have another question. Sin 60 degree all over 1 plus sin 30 degree minus sin 60 degree all over cos 60 degree. And our tan 60 is what? Root 3 all over 1 plus sin 30 1 over 2 minus sin 60 is what? Root 3 over what? 2 all over cos 60, which is what? 1 all over what? 2. Please, if you are doing this in an examination, you can write it out when you are in the examination, or you can formulate this yourself. It's not hard if you are used to it. So this will give me what? Root 3. And since I have 2 here and I want to add 1, 2 plus 1 will give me what? 3, which is 1 and a half. So I simply have all over, or let me use this division sign, divided by what? I'm using this as this now, because 1 plus 1 over 2 will give me what? 3 over 2. So I have 3 over what? 2. Minus, this will give me what? Root 3 over 2. Use this division, 1 over what? 2. So I'll have my root 3. If I change division to times, these two will interchange to give me 2 all over what? 3. Minus, this will give me root 3 all over what? 2. Times 2 over what? 1. This can cancel this. And I'll have what? 2. And I'll have 2 root 3 all over what? 3. Minus root what? 3. This can be what? Over 1. XCM will give me what? 3. 3 into 3, 1. 1 times 2 root 3 will give me what? 2 root what? 3. Minus 1 into 3 will give me, 1 into 3 is 3. And 3 times root 3 will give me 3 root what? 3. Now if you watch, root 3 is common at the numerator. So I'll have root 3 bracket 2 root 3 divided by 3 will give me what? 2. Minus 3 root 3 divided by 3 will give me what? 3. And I'll have what? 3. So I'll have root 3 bracket 2 minus 3 will give me minus 1 all over what? 3. Root 3 times minus 1 will give me what? Minus root 3 all over 3. And this is my what? Answer. Again, we have 1 over sin 60 degree minus 1 over tan 60 degree minus 1 over cos 60 degree. How do we do this? Well, first, we know that our 60 degree, sin 60 degree is what? Root 3 over what? 2. This is a bigger division. Or, to save you the stress, we can simply have 1. This is the division sign. Sin 60 is what? Root 3 over what? 2. Minus 1 divided by, I don't need to use this because tan 60 is what? Root 3. So I have 1 over what? Root 3. Minus 1 divided by, cos 60 is what? Equal to sin 30, which is 1 over what? 2. Now, This can be written as 1 times 2 over what? Root 3. Changing division to multiplication and interchanging the right hand fraction. Minus 1 over what? Root 3. Minus 1. Change here to times. Interchange the right hand fraction. 2 over what? 1. And this will give me 2 over what? Root 3 minus 1 over root what? 3. Minus what? 2 over what? 1. Now, I have to rationalize. How do I rationalize this? I simply need to what? Take my XCM first. XCM of root 3 and 1 will give me what? Root 3. So I'll put my root 3 here. Now, root 3 into root 3 is 1. 1 times 2, 2. Minus root 3 into root 3, 1. 1 times 1, 1. Minus 1 into root 3 is root 3. And root 3 times 2 will give me what? 2 root what? 3. So I've gotten this. So, but you know that 2 minus 1 is 1. So I have 1 minus 2 root 3 all over what? Root 3. We don't end there because we still have 3 at the what? At the denominator. So we'll multiply through by root 3. So I have root 3 all over root 3, which is called rationalization of surd. Now, 1 times root 3 will give me what? Root 3. Minus 2 root 3 times root 3 will give me 2. Root 3 will give me what? Root 9, which is 3. So I have 2 times what? 3 all over. Root 3 will give me square root of 3 what? The square root of 3 what? Square. And this will cancel to give me just what? 3. So I'll have root 3 minus 6 all over what? 3. And this can be my answer, or I can still go further to say root 3 over 3 minus what? 6 over what? 3. Because I share the division among the two of them, which from this I can also get here. So I'll have root 3 over 3 minus what? 2 as my final what? Answer. So this is a question from a standard school in Delta State. And we have 2 sine 60 degree minus cos 30 degree. Again, we'll use the same format. Remember our sine 60 is root 3 over 2. So I'll simply have 2 times root 3 all over 2 minus cos 60 is what? Root 3 all over what? 2. This can cancel this, and I'll have root 3 minus root 3 all over what? 2. This can be over 1. XCM of 2 and 1 is what? 2. 1 into 2 is 2. 2 times root 3 will give me 2 root what? 3. Minus 2 into 2 is 1. 1 times root 3 will give me what? Root what? 3. Now, 2 minus invisible 1, since 3 is common, since it's a like term, will give me what? 1. So I have root 3 all over 2 as my what? Answer. Let's verify if our answer is even correct, because in SS3 they normally allow the use of calculator. So if you simply press 2 sine 60 equal whatsoever minus what? Cos 30, you have your answer. So the answer is giving me 0.866, and we already know that root 3 over 2 is 0.866. So our answer is absolutely what? Correct. So we have again sine 30 degree minus cos 30 degree all over sine 60 degree. How do we resolve this? First, sine 30 we already know is what? 1 over 2 minus cos 30 is what? Root 3 over what? 2. And sine 60 equal cos 30 equal to what? Root 3 all over what? 2. Now, we can see that for the top, we have 2 and 2 for the numerator. So SCM is 2. Since the numerator has same values, you simply have 1 minus what? Root 3. Let me use this division sign for this. And I'll have what? Root 3 all over what? 2. And this will give me 1 minus root 3, which is 1 minus root 3 all over 2. If I change division to multiplication, I'll have what? 2 all over what? Root 3. And this can simply cancel this. And I'll have 1 minus root 3 all over what? Root 3. Now I have surd at the bottom. I will rationalize. So I'll multiply it by root 3, and I'll multiply it by root 3. And if I do that, I'll have 1. 1 times root 3 will give me what? Root 3. Minus root 3, root 3. Minus plus is what? Minus. Root 3 will give me what? 3. All over. Root 3 times root 3 will give me root 9, which is what? 3. And this is my what? Answer. So again, we have cos 60 degree minus sine 60 degree all over sine 60 degree plus cos 60 degree. Now, cos 60 degree is what? 1 over 2. And sine 60 degree is root 3 over what? 2. So I simply have my 1 over 2 here minus root 3 over what? 2. All over what? That of sine. Root 3 all over 2 plus what? 1 all over what? 2 for cos 60. Now, the XM are the same. So I simply have all over 2 here, and I have the denominator are the same. So the LCM is 2, and you simply subtract or add whatsoever you have here. So I have what? Root 3. And I'll use my division sign. I'll put my 2 again, and I'll add the top. Root 3 plus what? 1. Now, this will give me 1 minus root 3 all over 2 times, I will interchange 2 all over what? Root 3 plus what? 1. 2 can cancel 2. And I'll have 1 minus root 3 all over root 3 plus 1. I'll rationalize this. I'll have 1 minus root 3 all over root 3 plus 1. Since I have root 3 plus 1, I'll therefore multiply by root 3 minus 1. This is called the conjugate base of this. So I have root 3 minus what? 1. 1 times root 3 will give me what? Root 3. Plus 1, plus times minus, minus 1 times 1, 1. Minus times plus, minus root 3 will give you what? 3. Minus minus plus root 3 times 1 will give me what? Root what? 3. All over this, you simply pick that of the negative. So you have root 3 was square plus minus, yes, always minus 1 what? Square. So you just pick one of this and one of this, and you put your what? Minus to show difference of 2 square. Because if I have root 3 square minus 1 square, for difference of 2 square will give me root 3 plus 1 and root 3 minus what? 1. Take note. So I'll have root 3 plus root 3 minus 1 minus 3 will give me minus 4 all over root 3 square will give me ordinary 3, and 1 square will give me what? 1. And I'll have this will give me 2 root 3 minus 4 all over what? 2. Now, if you check, 2 is common. I'll simply have 2 in brackets. 2 root 3 divided by 2 will give me what? Root 3. Minus 4 divided by 2 will give me what? 2. All over 2. And 2 can cancel 2. And my final answer become root 3 minus 2. Thank you.